Hi, I'm Cam Lay. I'm the Program Leader for Murray-Darling with New South Wales DPI Fisheries. I'm here today to talk to you about the impact of drought on our waterways and the impact that can have on our native fish populations. Our native fish populations are extremely resilient. They've evolved to adapt to droughts, floods and a range of extreme conditions. However, with the changing climate and increasing development along our rivers, there are more and more stresses they're having to deal with every day. The extended period of drought has placed significant stress on our native fish populations. Low flow within rivers can reduce the quality of water and can lead to large-scale fish kills, like was witnessed around the Lower Darling and Menindee in 2018 and 19. It can lead to increased algal loads, increased temperatures, and all of these factors put our native fish at risk. Drought can have other impacts on our native fish populations. They can isolate individual communities, make it difficult for fish to move around to find food, shelter, or migrate for the purposes of breeding. In particular, drought can have significant impacts on our threatened species. These are communities of fish that are already fragmented and isolated throughout the basin, and they're less resilient to the impacts of drought. In response to drought, the New South Wales Government has committed $10 million to a native fish drought response. The key pillars of the drought response are artificial aeration of waterways to keep communities of fish alive within rivers, the rescue and relocation of thousands of fish to safer habitats, and the delivery of water where available to support communities most at risk. Over 5,000 fish have been rescued and relocated throughout New South Wales. Many of these are now in government hatcheries, and they'll form the basis of the state's largest ever restocking program. This year alone, we've returned over 2.5 million fingerlings to the rivers to help support populations that have been decimated by the impact of drought. But there is hope for the future. Significant rainfall in the Northern Basin during the early part of 2020 has returned flow to the Barwon-Darling system for the first time in many years. And we've seen the reconnection of the Lower Darling with the Murray River. These are the first small steps on the path to recovery. The increased flows in rivers will allow us to restock our waterways with the native fish that have been rescued during the drought. In each valley of the Murray-Darling Basin, DPI Fisheries work closely with community members, stakeholders, local experts and First Nations people to identify the key actions to support fish during the ongoing drought conditions. We couldn't have rescued over 5,000 fish from the basin without the enormous support of community groups and in particular the recreational angling community. Local anglers were critical in guiding us to key refuges that were holding fish during the drought and in many instances were part of the process to rescue fish and transfer them to safe locations. Partnering with our stakeholders and community members will be critical in our response efforts. Improving habitats and restocking rivers will be the central component of our recovery strategy.